Hello everyone, I am teacher Li Wendy. Today, we will learn about emotional and social development and learning support for children aged 3 to 6. This course mainly focuses on the significance of emotional and social development in young children. The characteristics of emotional and social development in children aged 3 to 6. Relevant learning support strategies and methods, and the ways of homeschool collaboration. First, let's enter the first part, the significance of emotional and social development in young children, from the perspective of laying the foundation for emotional development and mental health. Positive emotions greatly facilitate the psychological development of young children. When we encourage young children, it enhances their self-confidence and resilience, giving them more courage when facing difficulties. At the same time, we must also help young children foster positive emotional experiences, which is an important foundation for their healthy psychological growth. In addition to fostering positive emotional experiences, teaching young children to manage emotions is also crucial. We can teach young children to master simple and practical emotional regulation methods, like deep breathing. Through these methods, children can calm down in time when emotionally agitated, which has long-term significance for their mental health development. Looking again from the perspective of social development and interpersonal relationship building. Cultivating good peer relationships in young children is key. We should guide children to initiate social interaction and cooperation with peers, which has an important impact on their future interpersonal interactions. Furthermore, children's adaptation to the social environment also depends on their mastery of social rules. In collective life, young children need to understand and abide by corresponding social rules. In fact, emotional and social development work together and jointly promote the comprehensive development of young children. On one hand, positive emotions and good social interaction can effectively enhance children's attention, stimulate their learning interest, thereby promoting the development of language and thinking. On the other hand, emotional and social development also assist young children in cultivating excellent qualities, such as kindness, courage, and responsibility. The formation of these excellent qualities helps shape a sound personality in young children. Next, we will analyze the emotional and social development characteristics of children aged 3 to 6. First, let's look at 3 to 4-year-old children. In terms of emotional development, their emotional expression is very direct. At the same time, children at this stage have a strong attachment to their parents. Once separated from their parents, they exhibit obvious separation anxiety. In terms of social development, 3 to 4-year-old children have a strong self-centered consciousness. They struggle with perspective taking. However, this stage is also the emergence of social behavior in young children. They actively try to interact with peers. As they grow older, 4 to 5-year-old children show clear progression in their emotional and social development. In terms of emotional development, their emotion recognition ability has greatly improved. They can discern basic emotions in themselves and others. When a peer cries, they actively show concern. Moreover, guided by adults, 4 to 5-year-old children also learn some emotional regulation methods, marking the budding of emotional regulation ability. In terms of social development, the sense of cooperation in 4 to 5-year-old children is gradually enhanced. During play, they begin to learn to negotiate with peers. At the same time, the budding of rule consciousness begins in children at this stage. They can understand some basic rules in collective life and are willing to abide by these rules. By age 5 to 6, young children's emotional and social development gradually matures. In terms of emotional development, their emotional experience becomes richer. Furthermore, 5 to 6-year-old children can already independently utilize some methods to regulate emotions. In terms of social development, 5 to 6-year-old children have more comprehensive social skills. They are sociable with peers. When differences arise with peers, they can proactively communicate to resolve differences. At the same time, their sense of responsibility is strengthened. They can not only practice social ethics, but also take the initiative to shoulder responsibilities. In this process, their sense of collective belonging is gradually cultivated. After understanding the characteristics of young children's emotional and social development, we can formulate targeted learning support strategies and methods. First, in terms of cultivating emotional cognition and management ability, we can use tools like emotional cards and picture books to help young children recognize emotional expressions, enabling children to accurately identify their own and others' emotions, and learn to express themselves appropriately. At the same time, we must provide emotional regulation guidance to young children. In terms of improving social skills, scenario simulation and role-playing are very effective methods. We can set up some common social scenarios. Let children engage in role-playing in these scenarios. Using this method to teach children social skills such as polite communication, sharing, and cooperation, allowing them to master the methods of interacting with others in practice. In terms of cultivating social rules and responsibility awareness, we can integrate rules education into daily life. We can also assign tasks to children that are within their capabilities. When children complete tasks, give timely praise and affirmation, allowing children to experience their own value in the process of completing tasks, and gradually cultivate a sense of responsibility. In addition to the above targeted educational suggestions, we can also utilize various resources and activities to promote young children's emotional and social development. In terms of emotional experience activities, we can conduct gratitude-themed events to express thanks to those around them and cultivating a grateful heart. Additionally, it is necessary to regularly organize emotional sharing sessions. During the session, allow children to freely talk about their recent feelings and experiences. Peers listen to each other, comfort each other, and encourage each other. In terms of social interaction activities, there are mainly two forms. One is cooperative game activity. The other is role-playing activity. Finally, there are social cognitive activities, which also consist of two types of specific activities. The first type is career awareness activities. Through these activities, children's social cognition can be effectively enhanced, allowing them to understand the professions and places in society. The second type is traditional festival activities. In these activities, children not only learn about the customs of traditional festivals and promote excellent Chinese traditional culture, but also, through participating in collective activities, cultivate a sense of respect for traditional culture and a sense of belonging to the collective. Now we come to the fourth part, homeschool co-education, supporting children's emotional and social growth. First, let's look at guidance for emotional and social development in the family. In daily interactions, parents can start from 3 aspects. First, create a warm family atmosphere. Second, pay attention to the emotional needs of young children. Third, cultivate social habits. Regarding conducting family emotional and social activities, there are 2 suggestions. The first is parent-child emotional interaction. Parents and children can read together, sharing stories through picture books to enhance communication. The second is family social simulation. Parents can simulate some social scenarios at home. Through these family social simulations, children can practice social skills in a familiar and safe environment, thereby cultivating their social skills. Homeschool cooperation requires effective communication, mainly in 2 ways. The first is regular development feedback. Kindergarten teachers should use various channels, such as parent meetings, class WeChat, or QQ groups, to regularly provide feedback to parents on their children's performance in kindergarten, so that parents can better cooperate with the kindergarten's education at home, promoting homeschool co-education. The second is to share educational methods. Kindergartens and families should share effective educational methods with each other. For example, the kindergarten can recommend suitable emotional picture books to parents. Share social skills taught in kindergarten. Parents can also share good educational experiences from home with the kindergarten. At the same time, both home and kindergarten can jointly use methods like role-playing. In terms of carrying out homeschool cooperation activities, first, we can organize parent-child social theme activities, such as parent-child sports days, parent-child handicraft, charity sales, etc. Secondly, through Parents' Open Day, let parents step in, thus comprehensively understanding the kindergarten's educational philosophy and daily routine, and is the most direct way to build trust between home and kindergarten. The above is all my content regarding emotional and social development and learning support for children aged 3 to 6. Thank you for watching and listening. Thank you everyone.